My brother threw a drink in my face in front of my boss. She made him lose everything he ever worked for. Welcome, family. Please subscribe if you enjoy stories like this. Say hello in the comments and tell us your city or country. With that, let's continue our story. I should have known something was wrong when Ryan texted me that afternoon. Mom's throwing a family dinner tonight. Be there. No, please. No explanation. Just a command, like I was still that little girl who jumped when anyone in my family snapped their fingers. But I went. God help me, I always went. The restaurant was upscale, the kind of place where appetizers cost more than my weekly grocery budget. I arrived in my work clothes, a modest blazer and slacks, still carrying my leather portfolio from the presentation I'd delivered that morning. My boss, Diana Jones, had called it the most innovative pitch she'd seen in 15 years. Those words still echoed in my mind like a blessing. I spotted my family immediately. Mom sat at the head of the table, her hair freshly pressed, wearing that pearl necklace Daddy bought her before he passed. My brother Ryan was beside her, his arm draped over some woman I'd never seen before. His suit probably cost 3 months of my rent. My sister Keisha was on her phone, ignoring everyone as usual. There she is, Mom announced, not bothering to stand. We ordered already. Didn't think you'd show. The familiar sting hit my chest, but I swallowed it. I texted I was coming. Sit down, girl, Ryan said, gesturing to the empty chair. We got big news to share. I sat, placing my portfolio carefully on the table. That's when I noticed the champagne bottles, expensive ones already half empty. Whatever they were celebrating had started without me. So, I asked, forcing a smile. What's the occasion? Ryan grinned, that same cocky smile he'd worn since high school. I'm getting promoted. Promoted. I tried to sound enthusiastic. That's great, Ryan. Congratulations. Not just promoted, he continued, leaning back in his chair like he owned the place. I'm being made partner at Henderson & Associates. Youngest partner in the firm's history. 48 years they've been in business, and I'm breaking records. The woman beside him squeezed his arm. I'm so proud of baby. This is Vanessa, Ryan said, barely glancing at me. My fiancé. Proposed last week. The hits kept coming. I looked at Mom, waiting for her to acknowledge me, to ask about my day, my life. Nothing. That's wonderful, I managed. Both things. Really. Keisha finally looked up from her phone. Some of us are actually doing something with our lives. The words were directed at me, sharp as glass. I'd dealt with this my entire life. Ryan was the golden child, football scholarship, law degree, now partner at a prestigious firm. Keisha was the baby, spoiled rotten, still living at home at 26. Me. I was the middle child, the one who'd paid her own way through community college while working 2 jobs. The one who'd built herself from nothing. I actually have some good news too, I ventured. My boss said. We're not done, Mom interrupted, refilling Ryan's glass. Tell her the rest, baby. Ryan's grin widened. I'm buying Mom a house. 5 bedrooms, gated community. She deserves it after everything she's done for us. The table erupted in celebration. I sat there, invisible, my good news dying in my throat. How nice, I whispered to no one. Then Ryan looked at me, really looked at me. How's that secretary job going? I'm not a secretary, I said quietly, my jaw tight. I'm a senior project manager. Ryan waved his hand dismissively. Same difference. You still work for someone else, taking orders. I'm about to have people working for me. Vanessa laughed, a high-pitched sound that grated my nerves. Ryan says you went to community college. That's so cute. The condescension in her voice made my stomach turn. I'd heard it before. From Mom, from Ryan, from everyone who looked at my life and found it wanting. But I'd learned to survive it, to smile through it. Community college was all I could afford, I said evenly. Some of us didn't get our tuition paid. Some of us earned scholarships, Ryan shot back. Maybe if you'd applied yourself. I applied myself, working 40 hours a week so I could eat, I interrupted, my voice rising slightly. While you partied on campus, I was stocking shelves at night. Mom's hand slammed on the table. Don't you dare disrespect your brother on his special night. He worked hard for everything he has. The unfairness of it crashed over me like a wave. I'd worked hard too. Harder probably. But my achievements were invisible to them, always had been. I was about to respond when I noticed someone approaching our table. My heart stopped. Diana Jones, my boss, was walking toward us in an elegant black dress. She'd mentioned she had dinner plans nearby, but I never imagined. Simone. Diana's face lit up with genuine warmth. I thought that was you. I wanted to tell you again, that presentation today was absolutely brilliant. I stood, my face flushing. Miss Jones. Thank you. Call me Diana, please. We're not in the office. Diana extended her hand to my family. I'm Diana Jones, Simone's supervisor. You must be so proud of her. She just secured a $3 million contract for us today. The client specifically requested her for the project. The silence at the table was deafening. Mom's smile was frozen, uncertain. Ryan stared at Diana, then at me, his expression darkening. Keisha actually put down her phone. $3 million. Mom repeated. The client was incredibly impressed, Diana continued, oblivious to the tension. Simone's innovative approach to sustainable infrastructure is revolutionizing how we do business. I've been trying to convince her to let us sponsor her MBA. She's executive material. I wanted to disappear. This wasn't how I'd planned to share my success. I'd been building up to it for months, waiting for the right moment when my family might actually listen. MBA. Ryan's voice was tight. She didn't mention that. I tried to, I said softly, looking at my mother. Earlier. But. Well, I just wanted to say congratulations again, Diana said, squeezing my shoulder. Enjoy your family dinner. You've earned the celebration. When Simone? The partners want to meet with you Monday morning. I think you know what that means. She walked away, leaving a crater in her wake. Ryan's face had turned to stone. Vanessa was whispering something in his ear. Keisha looked between us like she was watching a tennis match. Mom just stared at me like I was a stranger. $3 million? Ryan said slowly. The partners want to meet with you? It's not, I started. You're getting promoted. It wasn't a question. His voice dripped with venom. You're getting promoted before me. No, Ryan, it's different, I said, trying to de-escalate. Your firm is law, mine is urban development. We can't even compare. Don't patronize me. His voice carried across the restaurant. Other diners turned to look. How long have you been hiding this? I wasn't hiding anything. I've been trying to tell you all for months about my projects. Nobody listens when I talk. Mom's expression shifted from confusion to something harder. So you thought you'd embarrass your brother on his special night? Have your boss come over here and show off? The injustice of it stole my breath. I didn't know she'd be here. And how is my success embarrassing him? Because everything is always about you, isn't it? Keisha snapped. Poor Simone, middle child, nobody pays attention to her. Maybe if you weren't so boring. I'm boring. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. I'm boring because I work hard? Because I don't ask Mom for rent money at 26. Keisha's face flushed red. At least I'm there for her. When's the last time you came to Sunday dinner? I work Sundays. I've worked every Sunday for 4 years to get where I am. Ryan stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. You know what? This is typical. Can't let anyone else have the spotlight. You've always been jealous of me. I stood too, trembling with years of suppressed frustration. Jealous? Ryan, I've celebrated every single one of your achievements. Every game, every graduation, every promotion. When have you ever celebrated mine? What achievements? He sneered. Oh right, the $3 million contract we just heard about. The MBA we just heard about. The promotion we just heard about. You don't share anything with this family. Because this family doesn't care. The words hung in the air, raw and true. Mom's voice was ice. How dare you? After everything I sacrificed for you children. Everything you sacrificed for Ryan and Keisha, I corrected, my voice shaking. I paid for my own school. My own car. My own apartment. I've been on my own since I was 18. Because you wanted to be. Mom shouted. You were always so independent, thought you were better than us. Moving across town, barely calling. I call every week. You don't answer. This is unbelievable, Vanessa muttered. Baby, we should go. But Ryan wasn't done. I could see it in his eyes, that competitive fire that had driven him all his life. He'd always been first. The best athlete, the best student, the family pride. And I just shattered that illusion in front of everyone. You think you're special now? He said, his voice low and dangerous. You think one contract makes you successful? I've been carrying this family's name with pride while you've been invisible. Nobody knows who you are. Maybe that's because you never told them, I said quietly. I've invited you to my work events. My presentations. You never came. Why would I waste time on community college achievements? The slap of his words was worse than anything physical. This was my brother, the boy I'd looked up to, protected, loved despite everything. And he saw me as nothing. I think we're done here, I said, reaching for my portfolio. That's when Ryan grabbed his glass, half full of champagne, and threw it in my face. The cold liquid hit me like a shock. It soaked my hair, my blazer dripped down onto my portfolio. The restaurant went silent. Everyone was staring. That's for ruining my night, Ryan said. I stood there dripping, humiliated, and something inside me broke. I didn't cry. That's what shocked me most. I stood there with champagne dripping off my chin, my carefully pressed blazer ruined, my leather portfolio stained, and I didn't shed a single tear. Maybe I'd finally run out. Simone, Mom started, but I held up my hand. No. My voice was steady, eerily calm. No, you don't get to say anything right now. I picked up my napkin, wiped my face slowly, deliberately. The entire restaurant was watching this family implode. I could see phones out, probably recording. Somewhere in my peripheral vision, I noticed Diana Jones standing with her dinner companions, her face a mask of shock and fury. You know what the saddest part is? I said, looking at each of them. I came here tonight excited. I was going to tell you about my contract. About the promotion. I was going to offer to help with the down payment on Mom's house because I actually just got a significant raise. But you didn't even ask about my day. Ryan slammed his hand on the table. Oh, here we go with the victim routine. I'm not a victim anymore, I interrupted. I'm done. With all of this. Keisha scoffed. You're being dramatic. It was just champagne. It wasn't about the champagne, I said, meeting my brother's eyes. It was about respect. And I finally understand that I'll never get it from any of you. I picked up my ruined portfolio. Inside was the contract I'd spent 6 months negotiating. The one that would have changed not just my life but potentially could have helped my family too. Not anymore. Simone, sit down, Mom commanded. Let's talk about this like adults. Like adults. I laughed, a hollow sound. When have you ever treated me like an adult, Mom? I'm 32 years old and you still introduce me as the one who went to community college. Excuse me. Diana Jones's voice cut through the tension like a blade. She'd crossed the restaurant and now stood beside our table, her expression professional but her eyes blazing. Simone, do you need assistance? The question was loaded. I could see it in her stance. She was offering me an exit, protection, support. Things my family should have offered. I'm fine, Miss Jones, I said, though we both knew it was a lie. No, you're not. Diana turned to Ryan and her voice dropped 20 degrees. I don't know who you are, but I just watched you physically assault one of my best employees in public. Over what? Professional jealousy? Ryan stood straighter, puffing his chest. This is a family matter. It doesn't concern you. It concerns me when one of my people, someone I'm about to promote to director level, is attacked at what should be a celebration. What's your name? Ryan Johnson. Attorney at Henderson and Associates. He said it like it was a weapon, like his credentials would intimidate her. Diana's eyebrow raised. Henderson and Associates? Really? She pulled out her phone. Interesting. I have Richard Henderson's personal number. We've worked together on several projects. I watched the color drain from Ryan's face. Henderson and Associates wasn't just any firm. It was the firm that handled contracts for Diana's company. One word from her could destroy everything Ryan had built. Wait, Ryan started. No, let me make sure I have this right, Diana continued, her voice sharp. Ryan Johnson. You said you're about to make partner. Vanessa touched Ryan's arm nervously. Baby, maybe we should. I am making partner, Ryan insisted, but his voice wavered. The announcement is next week. Not anymore, Diana said simply. She began typing on her phone. What are you doing? Mom stood up, her voice rising with panic. Diana didn't look up from her phone. I'm texting Richard Henderson. He's a personal friend and a professional contact. We're having lunch Tuesday to discuss a $50 million contract. I think he'll be very interested to know that one of his future partners has anger management issues and a tendency toward violence in public settings. It was just a drink. Keisha protested. You people are acting like he hit her. He assaulted her, Diana corrected, finally looking up. In front of dozens of witnesses. Including me, a major client of his firm. Do you understand how business works? Reputation is everything. Ryan's face had gone gray. Please. Don't do this. That promotion, I've worked 7 years for it. And Simone worked her entire life to get where she is, Diana shot back. While putting herself through school, while being dismissed by her own family, while being invisible to the people who should have supported her most. But the moment she succeeds, you literally throw it in her face. I stood there, numb, watching this play out. Part of me wanted to stop Diana, to protect my brother despite everything. That instinct, to shield him, to minimize myself, was so deeply ingrained. But another part of me, the part that had been drowning for 32 years, wanted to let it happen. Simone, tell her to stop, Mom pleaded. He's your brother. You can't let her destroy his career over one mistake. One mistake. As if it was an isolated incident, not the culmination of a lifetime of dismissal and contempt. I can't stop her, Mom, I said quietly. And I won't. You vindictive bitch, Ryan started. Finish that sentence, Diana warned, and I'll make sure you never practice law in this city again. The manager finally approached, clearly uncomfortable. Is everything all right here? We've had complaints from other guests. We're leaving, I said, my voice stronger now. I apologize for the disturbance. You're apologizing? Keisha's voice was shrill. They're the ones who... Because that's what I do, I interrupted, looking at my sister. I apologize. I make myself smaller. I pretend everything is fine. I've been doing it for 32 years and I'm tired. Mom's eyes were wet now, but I couldn't tell if it was genuine emotion or manipulation. With her, it was always hard to tell. You're going to let this woman ruin your brother's life because your feelings are hurt? My feelings are hurt? I repeated slowly. Mom, when Daddy died, who planned the funeral? Me. I was 19 years old and I handled everything because you couldn't get out of bed and Ryan was too devastated. When you needed money for Keisha's car, who sent it? Me. When Ryan needed a character reference for law school, who wrote it? Me. That's what family does, Mom said weakly. Yes, it is. Family supports each other. But what has this family ever done for me? And please give me one example. The silence was answer enough. Diana touched my shoulder gently. Simone, my car is outside. Let me take you home. She's not going anywhere. Ryan shouted, desperate now. Simone, please. I'm sorry. I was drunk, I was jealous, I fucked up. But don't let her destroy me. Please. I'm begging you. I looked at my brother, really looked at him. He was scared. Not sorry, not truly remorseful. Just scared of consequences. You should have thought about that before you threw the drink, I said. The video went viral over the weekend. Someone at the restaurant had recorded the whole thing. Ryan throwing the drink, Diana's intervention, everything. By Monday morning it had 3 million views across various platforms. The comments were brutal. Imagine being so insecure you attack your sister for succeeding. The way she just stood there and took it. You know this isn't the first time. That boss is a queen for protecting her employee. I didn't watch the video. I couldn't. But the world was watching and the consequences were swift. Henderson and Associates released a statement Monday afternoon. After reviewing recent events, we have decided to rescind our partnership offer to Ryan Johnson, effective immediately. We maintain a strict code of professional conduct, and Mr. Johnson's behavior falls below our standards. Ryan called me 17 times that day. I didn't answer. Mom called too. You have to fix this. He's your brother. His career is over. I didn't throw that drink, Mom. I didn't record it. I didn't post it online. I'm not responsible for his choices. You could have stopped that woman. Her name is Diana. And she didn't do anything except tell the truth. My promotion was officially announced Tuesday. Director of Sustainable Development, with a salary that made my hands shake when I saw the offer letter. Diana took me to lunch to celebrate, just the two of us at a quiet place where nobody would throw drinks. How are you holding up? She asked. Honestly, I don't know. I keep waiting to feel guilty. Do you? I considered the question. No. Is that wrong? Not even a little bit, Diana said. Simone, I've watched you for 3 years. You're brilliant, hardworking, and kind to a fault. But you let people walk all over you. Pie family. Isn't your family, she interrupted gently. Family doesn't treat you like that. 2 weeks later, Mom showed up at my apartment. I hadn't been home, to their home since that night. I'd ignored the calls, the texts, the voicemails. I'd been building a wall, brick by brick, protecting myself. But she had my address. Of course she did. We need to talk, she said when I opened the door. I almost didn't let her in. But 32 years of conditioning is hard to break. I stepped aside. She looked around my apartment. 1 bedroom, modest but mine. Paid for with my money. Decorated with my taste. A space they'd never visited before because they'd never asked to. Nice place, she said, but it didn't sound like a compliment. What do you want, Mom? She sat on my couch uninvited. Ryan lost everything. The partnership, his reputation, his relationship. Vanessa left him. He's living with me again because he can't afford his apartment. I'm sorry to hear that, I said and meant it. I wasn't cruel. I just wasn't responsible. Are you? Her eyes were hard. Because you don't seem sorry. You seem satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I'm tired. Tired? You're tired. Mom's voice rose. Your brother is destroyed and you're tired? He needs help, Simone. Financial help. Just until he gets back on his feet. Your fancy new salary. No. The word hung between us. No, she repeated like she'd never heard me say it before. Maybe she hadn't. No, Mom. I'm not giving Ryan money. I'm not fixing this. He made his choices. He's your brother. And I was his sister. Where was his loyalty when he threw that drink? Where was yours when you watched him do it and said nothing? Mom stood shaking. I raised you better than this. Family helps family. You raised me to be convenient, I said, my voice breaking finally. Quiet. Huffle. Invisible unless you needed something. I learned about Ryan 3 months later. Not from family, we hadn't spoken, but from a mutual acquaintance. He'd moved to another city, taken a position at a smaller firm. Starting over. I felt nothing when I heard the news. Not satisfaction, not sadness. Just nothing. Keisha sent one text. Hope you're happy. You destroyed this family. I didn't respond. But I thought about it, how I destroyed nothing. I just stopped holding the broken pieces together. Diana became more than a boss. She became a friend, a mentor, the person who saw me when my own family couldn't. Under her guidance, I flourished. My projects transformed skylines. My innovations changed how cities approached sustainable growth. I traveled, I grew, I became someone I could be proud of. But success felt hollow sometimes, especially on holidays. I'd sit in my apartment. Bigger now, beautiful, filled with achievements. And I'd remember family dinners before everything fell apart. Before the drink. Before the truth. I tried therapy. Spent hours talking about family dynamics, about codependency, about the child who gives everything hoping to finally be seen. My therapist said I'd made the healthy choice. That setting boundaries wasn't cruelty. that I wasn't responsible for Ryan's consequences. I believed her most days. On my 35th birthday, a letter arrived. No return address, but I knew Mom's handwriting. Inside was a single photo. All of us at my high school graduation. Dad was still alive then, his arm around Mom. Ryan stood proud in his football jersey. Keisha was just a kid. And there was me in my cap and gown, smiling at the camera like the world was full of possibility. On the back, Mom had written, "We were a family once." I stared at that photo for hours, crying for the first time since that night at the restaurant. Not because I regretted my choices, but because I mourned what we never were. The family I needed, wanted, deserved. They existed only in my imagination. I never wrote back. Some endings don't need closure. They just need acceptance. Years later, I'd see my reflection in conference room windows and wonder if that girl in the graduation photo would recognize me. Stronger now, successful, independent. But alone in ways that success couldn't fix. My brother threw a drink in my face and my boss made him lose everything. But what I lost was different. The fantasy of unconditional love, the hope of being enough, the dream that family meant something beyond blood and obligation. I gained a career, respect, freedom. I lost a family that never really held me. Some days I still can't decide which loss weighs heavier. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Share your own experiences with family dynamics in the comments. You're not alone. And remember, setting boundaries isn't betrayal. It's survival. The moral: sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is walk away from people who refuse to see your worth, even if they're family. Success means nothing if you sacrifice your self-respect to achieve others' approval. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions or consequences. Your peace matters more than their comfort.